If you think happy relationships are supposed to be easy, always respectful, and only for the fully healed, then I've got some news for you. You've been lied to. And if you've been struggling in your relationship because of these myths, it's not your fault, but you get to break free from that. And that's what I'm here to help you do. In today's video, I'm going to share with you why I believe that everything you think about happy relationships is probably wrong. See, I used to believe these things too, and I thought that if my relationship felt hard, it meant something was wrong. Or I thought that if we argued in a messy way, we were doomed, and we argued a lot. And I thought I had to be fully healed because before I could have a healthy love, because you hear that all over the place. Well, I was wrong, and today I'm going to share with you why. Hi everyone, Mireille Nicole here, relationship coach, and I'm all about guiding you towards your happily ever after and helping you tackle the tough stuff in love with grace and wisdom. Before I bust a few myths, I'll quickly share my story. So my current relationship was probably by far the hardest. It came from divorce. My partner had a high conflict ex. We were building a blended family together. And also my husband and I are complete opposites on many levels. So this whole idea of having checklists and being compatible, well, that was not necessarily true for me. Definitely opposites can attract. But years 3 to 5 of our relationship, I actually didn't think we were going to make it. And there was certainly no proposal in sight or marriage in sight for us. And I had to unlearn a whole bunch of toxic patterns, and so did my partner. But with every breakthrough we had, every moment of forgiveness and understanding, it actually made our connection deeper. And I have a whole video sharing my love journey, and I'll link to it here up there if you're curious to watch it after, where I go more in depth. But you'll see that it wasn't always easy for us. And before I forget, I also have a free relationship success checklist that you can download with the 5 daily actions I take to ensure that my relationship stays happy, healthy, and fulfilling. So I'll put the link in the description and I'll pin it in the comment section for you. So now let's dive into the 3 myths, which are totally wrong when it comes to happy relationships, and I'll show you why. Number 1, it's not supposed to be hard. Like I already shared a little bit, right? My relationship was super hard with my husband. And one of the things I love sharing is that I don't know if you've ever seen that meme, right? There's this meme that goes by on social media. I see it every now and then. And it's like this old couple, and on the photo itself, there's like a caption that says something like, imagine how many times they've had to forgive each other. And they're like an older couple walking down the street and holding hands and everything. Like, we tend to romanticize old couples who have been together like for decades, forever, right? But let's be real. Do we really know how much they've been through? How many difficult conversations, how many disappointments and moments of doubt they must have had together to get to that, 50th anniversary of being together? Now, I'm not saying that you should tolerate bad behavior or tough stuff out in your relationship. Not at all. I have super high standards in my relationship, but some level of acceptance is going to be mandatory, and not just of your partner's flaws, but of your own flaws too. The happiest relationships aren't happy because they never struggled. They're happy because they survived the struggles together. I remember watching a video from Esther Abraham Hicks. If you're into manifestation, you'll probably know all about them, right? And it was this video on YouTube where they were talking about how satisfaction in a relationship comes from overcoming obstacles together. Like, I would not say that it's the only way that there's satisfaction in the relationship, but solving problems together, getting through tough challenges in a partnership together, right? Like, that's going to help you become happy and satisfied, because you guys know that you can handle anything that comes your way. Because let's face it, like, things are going to happen in life. There are going to be tough situations, and just giving up when things get hard is going to be really difficult to be in a long-lasting, happily ever after relationship if the first instinct is to think that, well, it has to be easy. If it's hard, it must be the wrong thing. Now, the goal is to do it right? We want to get through these challenging moments the right way, and couples that make it either understand this consciously or unconsciously. And either way, it's something you can learn. And I talk all about getting through tough moments, challenges, conflict, messy arguments in my course, Fight Smarter. All right, myth number 2, arguments will always be respectful. Now, if you're familiar with relationship expert John Gottman and his book, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, you'll know that research shows that some of the happiest couples get into the worst fights, right? So it's great to expect or want your partner to never raise his voice or never say something he doesn't mean, or vice versa, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean, again, that your relationship is doomed. Real relationships in life don't always work like that, especially when you haven't yet learned the most effective approaches or skills yet. But this is all, like I said, things that you can learn, because we're human, and sometimes when emotions get really high, we say things we regret. Now, does this mean that you should let disrespect slide and not say anything? Absolutely not. But it does mean that conflict itself isn't the enemy. The real danger, letting those fights define your relationship or who you are as a person. I remember a pivotal moment in my relationship where my husband used the word crazy in an argument. And that word hit me so hard, I'll never forget. And from that point on, I made sure it was never said again, and that no name calling of any sort ever happened again. And the key in this case is repair. And there's other skills leading up to that. But it's not usually the arguments that break a relationship. It's not repairing them that does. And also not being intentional about creating a concept. I forget who coined this, positive sentiment override. I think John Gottman also talks about it in his book. But this is the whole idea of building money up in the love bank. Another relationship expert says that word. It's just the idea of building a lot of goodwill in your relationship. And that's why I share with women, you don't have to be perfect 9 times of 10. Just like build up a lot of goodwill in the relationship so that when things are hard, because things will get hard, then things don't spiral out of control. And it might even avoid the argument altogether. But if it doesn't avoid the argument, then it helps make sure that things don't get personal when there is conflict, because there will likely be conflict. You guys are 2 different people just getting together, right? You might have a lot of similar values and interests, but at the end of the day, there could be some things that you probably don't see eye to eye on, and that is actually okay. All right, myth number 3, you must be healed from all trauma. Let me be honest with you here. I met my partner when I was totally unhealed. I hadn't done any therapy at that point, no inner work. I didn't even know what healing and all this inner work stuff was back then. I was all bad habits and a whole lot of fears and just baggage, right? From my previous relationship and all my past experiences too, right? Earlier on. And a lot of times you'll see on the internet again nowadays, right? All these like healing gurus and therapists and all sorts of things who have very valuable information. And I totally believe in this stuff, but I don't necessarily believe that you have to be at a certain level necessarily to make things work or like fully healed, right? There's a lot of growth that can happen in the relationship. And that's what I experienced myself. So obviously, I'm going to believe that and hopefully give hope to you guys, those of you out of there who feel like, okay, well, I'm not maybe there yet. I don't necessarily know what to do maybe at this point, or I don't know how long it will take, but I do want to have a happy relationship. And that is totally possible for you. For me, I just fell in love with my husband, right? Whenever the universe brought him into my existence, I was as I was, just all my faults and traumas and all. But guess what? We built something beautiful, and it did take work. And like I said, it was hard, and maybe it would have been a whole lot easier and smoother, right? Had I done all this inner work or been fully healed beforehand. But like I said, that just doesn't mean that the relationship of your dreams isn't available to you. It still is. And yes, healing's important. Yes, therapy is amazing. I love it, but you don't have to be some enlightened, guru, trauma-free guru to deserve love. What matters more is that you're willing to grow and grow together as a couple, and even in times when it feels one-sided. So if you're watching this and thinking, I have too much baggage to make this work, or maybe you're thinking your partner has too much baggage to make it work, I want you to hear me loud and clear. That is not true. If you cherish the relationship you're in or the partner you have and you want to make it work, you already have the most important ingredient to the recipe of success, right? Commitment. And I would also say love. And that's actually a fourth myth, I would say. I wasn't planning on doing four myths, but the whole idea of love is not enough. I could not disagree more with this. I agree with the Beatles here. Love is all you need. The rest, you can work it out with the right relationship skills and the right approaches, and by making powerful decisions for yourself and what you desire out of life. So now you know, happy relationships can be hard, fights can be messy, and you don't have to be fully healed to love and to be loved. In fact, all you need is love. But here's the next thing you need to know. You need to know how to fix your relationship when it feels like it's falling apart. So if you're struggling with that right now, I made a whole video breaking it down step by step, and you can click here to watch it now. I'll link to it here and as the last the watch next video at the end. And by the way, if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like it, drop a comment, and subscribe. Let us know what's one relationship myth you used to believe, because trust me, you are not alone in this.